It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
What you got?
All right. Deion Sanders has been in the news a lot. He's taken this new Colorado job. But my question is, do you think he would have taken these jobs before the NIL and portal era?
Yes. I know he would have. I love Deion, which, by the way, you know, his nickname for a while, people called him Neon Deion.
I remember that one.
And I asked him once, I was like, what's up? You don't ever go Neon Deion? He goes, I hate that name.
Really?
He said, I hate it. No one ever calls me that because I tell him, please stop. Somebody named him that.
Probably
I
like
think
Press.
he named himself Primetime. And now he's Coach Prime. That's literally what they call him, Coach Prime. And so I know he would have, because when he was looking to get into coaching, I think I've shared this before about Florida State. Have I said it on the air?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talked about it a couple weeks ago, I think.
On the air?
Yeah.
Okay. If not, I'm going to say it now. But he texted me and was like, hey, that Florida State job is open. And it was before the coach that was at Memphis took the job, which he's there now. I don't think he's been fired, has he?
No, he's still there.
Okay.
Norvell.
Yeah. And so they didn't know it was going to be him. The job just opened. He goes, hey, would you mind tweeting? You think I'd be a good coach at Florida State? And I was like, yeah. So I tweeted it. So I know he was looking to coach. And so I think he was taking the jobs because he just wanted to coach. And I don't think he got at that time a job he felt passionate about. So he went and coached his kids in high school. Then he got the job at Jackson State because he felt passionate about that place and it being an HBCU. I do think, regardless of NIL, he would have loved to have done it. And I think he's going to do a great job.
Do you think, a quick follow-up, do you think he would have been as successful without NIL or portal?
Yeah, I think he would have been very successful. He's a driven, really smart guy. And I think maybe it's taken a little longer, but he has a brand and a splash and a magnetic thing about him that you want to be. Before John Madden died, this 2023 was Deion Sanders, John Madden. So John Madden died, they made it quickly about him, but they've now pulled that back because it's Deion Sanders. So he's still awesome to people. He's the greatest defensive back in history. Ronnie Lott also, but a safety.
Yeah.
Different kind.
Awesome.
Deion Sanders is the best shutdown cornerback that's ever played the game. So I do think he would have taken him. I'm a big Deion guy. This is a Deion pro Deion podcast.
Pro Deion.
Pro Deion, pro Baker Mayfield, pro Carolina Panthers, even though they're not together anymore. We got a lot of those pro.
Okay.
We're a pro. Go ahead.
Pro
Next
Jerry
question.
Jones. All right, which non-college football playoff New Year's Six Bowl are you most excited about? We got Tennessee, Clemson, Alabama, Kansas State, Tulane, USC, or Penn State, Utah.
Well, how boring does that Tulane USC game sound?
So,
But you got Heisman in there.
I know, but I don't care. And that Heisman played all kinds of games. I don't know. So I'm not going to go Tulane. You have to do those again for me.
yeah, so Tennessee, Clemson, Alabama, Kansas State, or Penn State, Utah.
The thing about Tennessee Clemson is they're playing without their starting quarterback, which is Hendon Hooker, who's the big draw. But Milton, right? Joe Milton's at he started last year. He's starting for them again. And also, I put the curse on Clemson. The curse of Clemson's killed them.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dabo big-timed us. Okay. You still might win the game, but there's a reason you lost 2 games. The curse.
No, I think the curse is also including that bowl game. For sure.
Well, I don't care if they win or lose. The fact that they're even in it is curse enough.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think the answer is going to be Alabama, Kansas State, because Alabama was right on the cusp of making the playoff, and Kansas State just won the conference and beat TCU, which almost kept them out of it. It's those two teams are probably, that's the best overall, most fun matchup of good schools. I'm going to say it's going to be the most fun game to watch because Kansas State, they keep the ball on the ground a lot. Alabama, they do what they do. They throw some, although their receivers have not been great.
Yeah.
But bowl games are weird, and this is another reason I can't wait for 12 and then eventually 16 games. That means all those teams are going to have people not jumping into the portal until after the bowl games, until they lose. Because a lot of bowl games now, unless you're in the big, if I were going to play in the NFL, I'd probably not play either.
Yeah.
Because they don't mean anything. This is not 1973 anymore.
Did they mean something back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. You made it to a bowl. And they didn't put number 1 and number 2 together unless they happen to match up in the Rose Bowl. Sometimes you'd have two national champions, different polls.
Yeah.
So a lot of that happened. But because it's now going to be 12, not next year, the year after, there's 12 teams that aren't going to have a bunch of coaches running or players running into the portal because they still have games to play. So it's going to make all those games important. If you have a team right now that's not in a big game, the 4, and they're playing in a bowl, you've probably already lost players. And you're like, how are we going to play this thing?
Yeah.
Because you can't get players for the game, but you can lose players before the game. Because your portal players aren't coming to practice and join the team. You may be getting a portal, but not for that game.
Yeah.
So,
And not to mention, makes it impossible to bet. because you're just like,
Yeah.
It
I
feels
don't
like
know.
preseason. It feels
It's
like betting
so hard.
preseason to me. It feels like betting preseason. All right, next up. Oh God.
I haven't blown the whistle on the tittle tattle in a minute. I can't believe you're not pro USC Tulane. As much as you like underdogs, dude, you know when you're a kid, maybe this is just me, but when you're a kid and you're not sitting at the cool high school you're not sitting with the cool kids at the table and the lunch table. You're sitting with the nerds at the other table and you're like, I'm too good for you nerds. That's how this game's going to be. USC is not going to show up to play Tulane, and Tulane is going to play lights out. It is going to be it's going to be amazing to watch.
Or USC's gonna mud
Just
stomp
whoop 'em.
them. It's gonna be a
Which
terrible game.
could be,
Terrible
but
game.
I'm
I'm
looking
leaning
for
that way.
Me
for
too.
that outcome.
That's why I don't care, because I feel like
Yeah.
USC's players are bigger, faster, stronger, and it's gonna be ugly quick. Next question.
All right, going to the NFL, do you agree with Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons saying that Jalen Hurts is mainly in the MVP conversation because of the system that he plays in?
I like it that he's saying it, because the Cowboys and Eagles should hate each other.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Agree or disagree, because I would listen to both arguments, but I like it. Even if he called him beforehand, I was like, yo, Jay, I'm gonna say this about you, dog, because let's just get it going. Because sometimes
Yeah.
they do that. In sports, they're like, hey, let's get something, or in Hollywood, like we'll create a feud. It's all set up. I'm not saying this is, but I like it. I like the Eagles and the Cowboys having a reason where feels like wrestling, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's good.
They're natural rivals, and the fact they're talking crap about each other, set up or not, is amazing. Now, do I actually believe it? Every quarterback is a benefactor, if they're playing well, of the system they're in.
Sure.
Either the system is made to suit them and their skills, or they are perfect for a system that already exists. So I don't think Jalen is so much of a system quarterback, like a Texas Tech quarterback back in the day, or a Hawaii quarterback, that it makes him great without actually having to actually be really good, great. The Eagles are really good. Does he exploit that system with his? Yes.
Yeah.
He's perfect for that system, because that system was kind of made for him. Yes, the system actually allows Jalen to do that, but if he couldn't do that anyway, it wouldn't matter. So if he's the MVP, it's because of just the whole package. Belichick doesn't win Super Bowls without Brady. No Hall of Fame coach is a Hall of Fame coach without having Hall of Fame players.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can have a wonderful system, but in the NFL, they'll figure your system out quick. Again, you can't go and be a Texas Tech or a Hawaii or insert a school with a crazy passing attack. Mississippi State, rest in peace. He creates the air raid, but those quarterbacks aren't really going to do much in the NFL, usually. So I believe in Jalen Hurts. I believe in the Eagles. Is he a benefactor? Yes, yes, but everybody is.
Any
You don't
MVP. Any MVP is a benefactor of who they're
Absolutely. You don't
playing
think
around.
Kansas City, Andy Reid have a system?
Correct.
And Mahomes is a system quarterback. Mahomes is the system.
Yeah.
And they build the system around him.
Yeah.
It's amazing. In the NFL, you can't just have a straight system and plug and play. The coordinators are too smart. The players are too good at whatever they're good at. And you saw like a Fields in Chicago. The Bears had a system. That wasn't the right one. As soon as they said, oh, we need to switch up, then Jalen was going crazy. Most rushing yards ever. He didn't have any weapons. They're going to be pretty good next year, I think, better. But yes, I love that. What I take away from this, Cowboys and Eagles, because I'm the biggest Cowboy fan I know.
There we
And
go. Let's go.
I love that they hate each other. All right, go ahead.
Does Kyler Murray's injury help or hurt Cliff Kingsbury's chances at staying the Cardinals head coach?
I think it takes some of the attention off of just him. The deal is he just signed a 5-year extension. They ain't going to fire him before he even starts getting that extension money. I don't think they should have fired him anyway, or should. Every year they've gotten a little better, and it's the Cardinals. Every year they've gotten a little better. They died in the playoffs early. Kyler was terrible last year. But the fact that he's hurt, it's kind of like a partial excuse. They weren't going to make it anyway this year.
Yeah.
But I think he at least gets next year, that first year of that extension. And if it all goes to S, but the problem the next year is Kyler may not be healthy and ready to go at the beginning of the year, so he may actually bottom another year.
Yeah.
My theory is he hurt Kyler's leg.
Ooh.
It's a bad theory, though.
Second
I'll even
shooter.
admit that. It's a bad theory.
Second shooter.
Job security.
All right, next up.
Does the signing of T.Y. Hilton to the Cowboys mean it's unlikely that Odell is going to play this year?
Yes. And it's also unlikely Odell's going to play anywhere this year unless they are posturing purposefully, because that's word. Odell's like, I'll just play next year because he decided he didn't want to play any regular season games. That's hard for everybody. It'll be hard for him to jump into a system, we're talking about systems, and know all the intricacies of it and throw with that quarterback enough. You need a game or two. You need preseason for the playoffs if you're Odell. You got to be a real desperate team to just go come. Cool, take all your time and just join us for the playoffs, especially if he's healthy enough. And if he's not healthy enough and he can only join right when the playoffs start, he's probably not healthy enough anyway because that's right on the edge. And you don't want him jumping in right when he could do something terrible in a playoff game and lose the whole thing for you. I don't think he plays with the Cowboys now. He could, but he doesn't want to play regular season. I think if he plays regular season, he'll play with them. Eddie?
Oh, I think you're exactly right. I mean, I think Odell, the conversation's done on that one. As far as T.Y. Hilton goes, I love that we're having options
It's
out
fun
there.
in 97 when he was rocking, huh?
That's what I'm saying.
When,
Like,
I was in 8th grade and I was drafting in fantasy, that's cool.
a lot of my friends sending me screenshots and be like, this is it. This is what we need. I'm like, guys, relax. Like, T.Y. Hilton was awesome, 5 years ago. We haven't seen a lot from T.Y. in the last couple of years.
Andrew Luck called him Papa.
But I love to get him on the team and just have different options. I think it'll help either way.
Andrew Luck going to the huddle. All right, 32 Papa Red. T.Y., you good?
Well, we'll say that again.
Yes, I am good.
That's my bad here.
He'll probably contribute, though, because the Cowboys are pretty hard up
I
at
agree.
depth in receiver.
That's right.
Yeah.
We were watching Gallup warm up, and, Gallup's had his history of injuries, but he's just not a big dude.
No, he's not.
He's actually way smaller than I thought.
What about CD Lamb? He looks skinny.
Very skinny.
He's skinny,
but he's tall.
yeah, but he's long.
Okay.
Long and very athletic.
And let me tell you, man, he's the first one out there when we showed up. There was no one on the field other than the punter, I think, kicking, on that side, and CeeDee Lamb running sprints back and forth.
What I heard,
I love that.
just from since we had some ears on the ground there, is that he didn't want to be talked about negatively on 25 whistles. We got out there early.
That's it.
Came out to say hi to Eddie.
Showing up.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. He didn't look at me.
All right,
So,
Kevin, last question.
Yeah, last one here. The Lions are currently a game and a half out of the final NFC playoff spot. Do you think they're going to make a run and make the playoffs?
So their remaining schedule, the Lions and Jets, that'd be a pretty good game. Both those teams could really use a win. It'd be a quality win for both teams. The Jets quarterback situation is interesting because you take your starter down. You have your new starter, which everybody loves, plays lights out, but then gets his ribs basically broken. They take him to the hospital. As of today, do we know his status? Is he supposed to play?
I think as of right now, and I know Zach Wilson's now his backup instead of Joe Flacco.
Flacco is not a backup quarterback. You heard?
Yeah.
He is not. He will not allow it.
Yes.
He's elite.
So we'll see what happens in that game, but I should be pretty good. Even Zach Wilson doesn't suck. Zach Wilson was injured this year. Zach Wilson is way young, has been coddled his whole life. I still think he can be a really good quarterback and probably will be for the Jets or somebody else. That'd be a good game. The Panthers and the Lions, that should be a pretty good game.
You think Panthers will win that?
Oh, for sure. This is a pro-Panther podcast.
That's why I asked.
That Panthers team, I think they can win. I don't have their schedule in my head right now, but I think they have a pretty good draw this week. Because in that division, because Tampa does not have an easy schedule. Here we go. This week,
Steelers.
the Panthers and Steelers, I think they can beat them.
Yeah.
And
They're at home there.
They're playing in Carolina.
Yeah, they can win that game.
And then in that same division, Saints and Falcons, one of them is going to lose.
Yeah.
Just period. They have to. So one of them kind of takes himself almost out of it. And then the
Bucks play someone good.
Bengals.
the Bucks are playing the Bengals.
Bengals, yeah.
Oof.
Love that. Love it.
The if they just can win a couple of these games, baby. Oh, but the question wasn't Panthers, it was Lions.
Yeah.
I think the Lions can win the Jets game. I think the Lions can win the Panthers game. I think the Lions can win the Bears game. I think the Lions can win the Packers. They probably
Yeah.
win 2 of those 4
Ooh.
playing the numbers game. But does 2 get them in the playoffs?
They're 2 back, aren't they, Kevin?
One and a half back.
1.5
I think
back.
Seattle's right in front of them. Seattle plays the Niners.
Seattle. Yeah, but the Niners, they got a quarterback. Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
just happened. So, hey, Seattle beat the Niners. Hey, how about those Niners? They really shut Seattle down.
Wow.
So, yeah, yes, I think they can make a playoff run. I like when they were talking to Dan Campbell, he was like, I didn't know they were throwing to Sewell.
That was
He was
great.
like, the crowd was loud. I didn't hear it. And I look up and my tackle's catching a ball for a first down.
Oh, man. It's a big dude.
Yeah. That's awesome. I do think so. It'll be tough, but I think so. It's a good story.
Yeah.
I thought they'd win 9 games. I think I said before when we did this early. They might. It's good for them. They're making us proud from Hard Knocks, baby.
Hey, first time that happens.
That is true. That is the Tittle Tattle.